You know what time it is. It's your boy, Aquaman, and boy, oh boy, do we got a straight fire video to watch together as I talk through it with y'all. This is at the XRP Ledger Apex 2024. The title of this lecture and talk is Intuitive DeFi. Man, oh man, oh man, after listening to this, I was just straight excited. I wanted to share it with all of y'all immediately. So here we are. But it's so crazy how a lot of these leaders for these projects that sit on the XRPL are echoing a lot of the same things that we're saying here at Club 28. But let's go ahead and tap on in, and never financial advice on this platform, but let's go ahead and tap on in.
Good morning, everybody. What a great event this has turned out to be. So many people in this expanding ecosystem. It's really fun. It's really fun. So this morning, I'm joined with some really great talent. We've got Adam, and they'll introduce themselves a little bit more, but Adam, Michael, and Artur, really great builders in the space. And really, we're in this ever-evolving landscape, which is finance, underpinned by blockchain technology. And it has emerged as a game changer, for sure. And it offers this decentralized and hybrid solutions for opportunities that have participants engaging on platforms that have eliminated the intermediaries often, which is pretty cool. Providing open and the permissionless access to financial services, talking lending, borrowing, staking, earning yield. We've got liquidity pools to play in, the AMM, very, very promising mechanism.
Did y'all hear that? We got liquidity pools to play in. The AMM, a very promising mechanism. Let's run it. This is going to be an exciting video. Sit back and relax. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up because this is going to be straight fire.
I imagine there's going to be services that are yet to be born from this technology. So while DeFi offers opportunities for innovation and financial empowerment, it also comes with risks. So I just want to be sure that we know that the regulatory uncertainty and the market volatility, none of what we talk about on this particular stage constitutes as financial advice. And I know that everybody says, do your own research. But that doesn't mean listening to a YouTuber. It means do your own firsthand research.
Straight facts. Do your own research, baby.
So joining me today is Adam, Michael, Artur. I'm going to have them introduce themselves because this is a really great lineup. They're building the future, not only of the XRPL ecosystem, but they're really building the future for blockchain. So Adam, please tell us a little bit about your solution.
Yeah, so I'm Adam Keiki. I'm the co-founder of XRP Cafe. We're an all-encompassing NFT platform where we enable users to buy, sell, and utilize NFTs on the XRP Ledger. I'm also the co-founder of First Ledger, which is a Telegram trading bot, and the co-founder of Honey Cluster, which is a Web3 infrastructure and data services company. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Michael.
I'm Mike. I'm one of the co-founders of Hummingbot, an open source project that helps people build automated trading bots. So the problem we solve is that for a lot of small token issuers, they don't want to hire an expensive trading firm to do market making. So they can just download our software for free and use that. And for a lot of people who are trying to start a new trading firm or a new market making business, well, for them, they don't want to hire lots of engineers. So they can also just use Hummingbot. And we're really proud to announce that we're finally integrated into XRPL Ledger in our next release. So I think now for the first time, anyone can kind of be a market maker on XRPL, and any token project can kind of rely on themselves instead of having to hire lots of folks.
I'm not going to lie. Hummingbot sounds extremely, extremely dope.
Yeah, brilliant. Arthur.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arthur. I am co-founder at XP Market. And at XP Market, we're building a decentralized finance platform which is driven by data analytics. And our goal is to make a decentralized finance on XRP Ledger as accessible as possible, both for the newcomers and the seasoned traders and investors. So we are building a platform that suits everyone.
Yeah, thank you. So let's get going. I've got a question for all of them to start off, and that is the biggest challenge that we have in this space is creating a user experience that attracts new people to use their assets. And we want something that's approachable and simple, and it's a challenge. You've got the technology on the one side, and then you've got the user experience on the other side. So what I'm curious is, how do you achieve that with your solutions, each of you? Because I know each of you are challenged with unique user experiences, flows that you've overcome. So I really would like to hear that. I'll start with Adam.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest things that we've kind of prided ourselves on when we first started building XRP Cafe and some of the other solutions was just in terms of creating a clean aesthetic and something that was really simple and intuitive to use right away. And I think one of the biggest aspects of that is really abstracting away some of the complexity of Web3 and utilizing some of these tools to make the onboarding just really, really simple and easy. I want to give a shout out to our UX designer, Tippy. He worked a number of years at Microsoft and has been a real veteran in the industry. So we're really excited to have him as our UX designer and really, really happy he's with us. So.
Yeah, nice. Nice shout out. Michael, how do you handle this?
Well, I think I spent a lot of time in finance, and I've learned that to have a healthy financial market, you need to have both the retail traders, but also the professional liquidity providers. Because a lot of part of the trading experience is like liquidity. Be able to have very low slippage and be able to transact in size. So to do that, you need to empower the liquidity providers in every ecosystem. And I think if you look at XRPL right now, there isn't a lot of liquidity because of the lack of liquidity providers. Hummingbot is a tool for liquidity providers. And in the past, I'm a bit apologetic to say that it was a kind of a janky command line tool. But our next release, which is Hummingbot 2.0, we finally added an application layer on top of it called Dashboard, where you can now backtest your strategies, you can configure them, you can launch like lots of bots at the same time and manage them. So finally, for liquidity providers, the UX is so much better, and I think it will catalyze more adoption of Hummingbot, especially on XRPL.
Yeah, that's so multiple bots at once.
You can run a whole fleet.
Wow. Okay. Oh, Arthur, how are you handling this?
So when we started XP Market, the main issue was obviously user experience. And we had to overcome it, and to do so, we first became the users of our platform ourselves. So we knew what we wanted as a user and both as developer, and we started building it. Then once the product was launched to the community, we started to gather the feedback. So we started to learn what are the pain points, what the community wants, what they're missing, or maybe what is too excessive that they do not need. And after that, we gathered all this feedback, we looked what our competitors do, what industry standards are, and we tried to learn both from ourselves, from the community, and for the builders in the area. We looked for the most optimal solutions, and we tried to optimize them for both what we are building and to the needs of our community. Because again, it is very important to understand who is your target audience. You have to understand their pain points, because while we are all in the Web3, it does not mean that we all have the same issues. Even though people from the XRP Ledger and Ethereum might be doing similar things, their user journey is very different. So we have to adapt and learn from that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm going to stick with you, Arthur, on this one. I think the majority of the XRP trading happens on centralized exchanges. And what I'm curious is, what are the advantages when you begin to have a trading experience using the native DEX, the decentralized exchange, on the XRPL?
That's really a great question, because when you trade on the DEX, there is one fundamental difference that you have to understand. When you're trading on decentralized exchange, you're in a full control of what you're holding and what you're doing. So at the same time, it can be a blessing, because you're in charge, you make the decisions, and you control the risks. But it also can be a curse, because you gain so much responsibility that you have to control your keys, you have to control your crypto, you have to control everything yourself. And for some people, that may be stressful. So again, on one side, you're in full control. On another side, there are some other risks. But when you trade on the DEX, again, you're in full control. But when we talk specifically about XRP Ledger DEX, so that becomes interesting, because with the release of AMM, now DEX and AMM, they basically talk to each other. And they provide you the best trade that you can get. At the same time, you still have to be aware of the liquidity limits and what you're doing. You have to understand whether you want market order or limit order. So all those tiny things have to compound. But overall, even when you're trading on the DEX, let's not forget that on XRP Ledger, there is a 0% fee when you're trading, compared to centralized exchanges. So it really depends on what you're looking for. If you want more control, DEX definitely for you. If you have some stress managing so much control, maybe centralized exchange is something you're looking for.
Good. I think I'm going to jump over to Michael. I want to know, at what point, what are you thinking about when you design this trading bot? You know, how do they actually work? Because maybe there's a lot of people in this room who've never used a bot.
Sure. Yeah, so the first thing I want to clear up is there's two types of trading bots. There's closed source and there's open source. So closed source is like Telegram bots like Unibot and Maestro, or platforms like 3 Commas, or when you run a bot on Binance or OKX. I think those are fine, but they don't offer you the same level of control that you want as a developer. So most developers use open source bot frameworks, and Hummingbot is probably one of the leading ones in this space. And so for the open source guys, we look at bots as a program, something that loops over every tick and then executes a set of logic based on market conditions. So for example, if you're a market making bot, you don't want to just set your spreads out there and kind of let them hang out there. Ideally, you want to use market data to assess what the volatility is in every second and automatically adjust your bots so that your spreads widen when the market's volatile and they narrow when the market's less volatile. So to do that, you basically need some type of engine, unless you don't want to build all yourself. So over the past 5 years, Hummingbot's really a framework. We standardize integrations to different exchanges, both centralized and decentralized. So you can write the same strategy logic, and that code will run the same way on every single exchange. So we have a community building connectors, but we also have a community building strategies. So our framework has kind of like defined frameworks for different types of strategies, like arbitrage, market making, and directional. And so people can kind of adopt the common templates and then customize their own strategies on top of that, and then develop different configurations for them. And so we kind of see a world where in the future, people will share both the strategies, their configurations, and then you also have people building integrations to lots of new exchanges. And so that's how we kind of see this community-based open source project being able to kind of eventually achieve the same kind of level of proficiency as some of the largest quant trading firms out there.
Yo, the future of the XRPL and projects like Hummingbot are going to be absolute game changers. Everything that is like kind of discouraging in DeFi right now as far as deploying into liquidity pools, are you in range, are you out of range, you know what I mean? Like all that is going to be automated through an AI bot. Like you just heard the man, like the future is absolutely going to be exciting and fun, especially if you're in this space right now. But let's continue.
I can't wait. I think I'm going to jump over to Adam. I'm curious on how you envision the future solution of NFTs. I'm talking beyond an NFT that brings us some beautiful, colorful language of images in our life. I want to think about the licensing rights maybe that can go along with that. Or I want to maybe explore with you some of the new revenue streams that are going to fall under paid permissions for AI training. That's also something that we might see. But I'm kind of curious what you have planned for expanding beyond that and bringing value back to the creators.
Yeah, so that's an interesting question, especially around the AI of using IP and wrapping a contract around that, and it's interesting because it wasn't that long ago that the New York Times actually sued OpenAI and Microsoft because they're using their copyrighted material to train those LLMs. So there's a lot of legal gray area in that aspect, but no, I feel like that's a perfect use case of wrapping contracts as NFTs and then using even some escrow and using on-chain royalties for that in a trustless, immutable way. So that's really cool. And I think one of the bigger things that this has kind of been a central theme at this conference is RWA and tokenization, and that's something that we're really focused on, especially engaging B2B partners and just bringing those to life on the ledger and bringing some of those assets on the ledger. So no, we're super excited about that.
Can't wait to see that become a reality for the creators. Artur, I'm going to go back over to you. I know you love data. I've had you on the channel a couple times, and I love data too, and you're really good at it, especially your analytics, one of the best in the space. So I'm curious, what features do you have on your platform that allow participants in this space to make informed decisions in the decentralized trading environment? And how do these analytics differ from maybe what we see on centralized exchanges?
So the beauty of decentralized exchange and trading on the DEX is that it is an open ledger. So it's open book, and you can see everything that's happening there. And if you're quite good with data, you can go look at the blockchain and decode and see what the real situation is. If you talk about centralized exchanges, then most of the volume is driven by market makers. Essentially an event where one entity is trading with itself to build an extra volume for whatever reason. There can be multiple reasons. And you cannot see that. You cannot decode it from the data that centralized exchange is presenting to you. But on the DEX, you can see that, and you can see that this volume is purely organic, and you can actually see how many people are trading. So one of the parameters we are using on XP Market when we are trying to evaluate the quality of the project or the level of interest that it has, we do actually track the average of weekly traders. So this is a number that shows how many unique wallets purchased or sold a particular asset. So that indicates whether there's a lot of interest or interest is going down. We are also tracking historical data. So we can tell you later the trends, or you can go as a user or as a company, look at this data, build it or plot yourself, and maybe make some projections on the future performance based on what you have seen in the past. So again, since it is an open ledger, you can really do a lot of interesting things, and they're all open and verifiable, something that you will not achieve with centralized exchange, where you have to trust the third party, and the whole idea of the blockchain that it removes the trust layer.
Yeah. I love to see all of your new build-outs too with using the data. I really enjoy it. So Michael, when you think about your programming of these bots, these many bots, these army of bots, can you share with us how Hummingbot has historically performed on that data as well?
Sure. Yeah. So one thing that we don't track our users, because that's why the use is open source. So we actually don't know exactly how they all performed. However, we do capture aggregate level stats because some of the users choose to report, like how much aggregate volume anonymized they produce. So in the past year, based on our tracking, Hummingbot users have done about $27 billion of volume across 200 plus exchanges. And those are only the users who choose to report. There's probably other institutions out there who just turn it off because the larger companies. But I think to me actually I want to give more advice in terms of like how do you actually start doing trading bots, because I think it's really important to understand what game you're playing. One game that a small player probably doesn't want to play is market making for, let's say, the BTC USDT pair on Binance. Because that's probably the most liquid market in crypto, and you're really competing with Citadel and Wintermute and Jane Street there. But there's other games you can play where, for instance, market making on new tokens on XRPL. There aren't many players there. The big guys just aren't there yet. And so as a small player, that's actually an advantage for you because you can act.
Did you hear that? The big guys are not there just yet. And what did David Schwartz say at the same Apex ledger? Get in before the major institutions do.
Nimbly and provide liquidity in a very illiquid market and take advantage of that, right? So first, pick your right game. And the second is have a thesis for how you're going to win even in that market. So it's kind of like, if you're market making, you're not just market making in general, you probably want to identify a specific token that you're excited about. And so it's like if it goes up, you profit, but then you also kind of benefit from providing liquidity during that range. So I think it's really understand to not like just blindly run bots because that's how you lose money, but instead think of it as an iterative approach that eventually you can prove out a thesis.
Can't wait. Like I said, I'm excited to try this. I think we'll move to Adam, and we're going back to NFTs because he's really got this wonderful platform that provides that solution. And being that you're across many regions around the globe, I imagine that would be interesting to see what region the APAC region brings. It's a little bit different because I know that there's going to be a lot of firepower put into the APAC region. And so I'm curious to ask you, Adam, what do you see as a differentiator? What's the difference when you see NFTs coming from Japan and Korea, for example?
Yeah, so the APAC market's been really interesting to us just because it's so culturally different than the US and Europe and some of these other countries that we typically engage with. And there's a huge language barrier, but we've had a huge outpouring of support, especially from Japan, just in the last 6 months. And it's overtaken a lot of our user groups and other countries from our user base. So they are the #1 country on our platform right now. So it's pretty impressive to see some of the growth coming from that region and the art and just the assets and the creators that they're creating on our platform is it's really high quality. So we're super excited to engage with them. Also, we're really excited about South Korea and the Singapore region, Philippines. We're seeing growth in that region as well. And, it's not just benefiting us, but I think it's going to benefit the whole ledger in terms of the whole APAC region, and that's going to be a real source of growth going forward for everybody.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see the focus in that part of the world. So I'm going to finish up with one question for all, and it's about mainstream adoption, because that's essentially the goal for all of us, not only the people you've seen on the panel, but even with everyone who's in this audience. And with the financial applications that are coming, also really amazing. As pioneers and builders in this space, how do you reach new users? You're educating them, you're teaching them new tools. We've got this crazy social media that's very noisy. How does everyone become part of a new member of the ecosystem? How are you drawing that audience? And what I really want is for the audience to a little bit participate intellectually with these answers. I would like to hear from the panelists what they think you all could do to increase that adoption. I'll start with you, Adam.
Yeah, so I've been to a lot of conferences in the last 2 years, and I've engaged with a variety of different people, both holders of XRP and non-holders of XRP, and there's just a kind of a central theme that when I talk to them, there's very low lack of awareness around NFTs, that you can even participate in a DeFi protocol on chain and some of these other dApps that people are building. And I would say that the biggest advice I would give would be to become an advocate for the network. Go out there and use the word of mouth, the power of people, and just engage within the community. That's really been one of the things that's worked for us, and I believe, on a broader sense, it's going to help engage everybody around the world.
Good answer. Michael, how should everybody in this room do it?
I kind of see crypto almost like an extension of the open source movement that has really kind of like grown a lot in the last 20, 30 years. So today, if you look at a lot of large companies, a lot of them are actually running open source projects under the hood, like MySQL or Linux, and that's powering their entire operations. And I think, to me, that's really going to be the future of crypto as well, because ultimately what crypto is about is creating open source financial protocols that everyone can use. So I think, to me, as someone who runs an open source project, I've always been amazed at the willingness of people to just contribute. From the very day we open source our stack, we had people who were like, hey, can I add an integration to this exchange? Can I add the strategy? And that's really what's powered Hummingbot's growth over the past 5 years. So I think, to me, I feel like there's actually a lot that people can do out there just to try stuff out. Someone launches a new project, someone launches a new DEX, just try it out and see how, if it works for you, if it actually helps you make money, great, use it. But also think about how you can contribute to that project. Go on the Discord, look at the GitHub issues and see, where you can kind of add it, because I think that's how we can grow this community.
Yeah.
I like this guy. He hit it right on the money. Get involved. Even if you got $5, like I've been saying on my platform, deploy. If you hold XRP, get involved with the XRPL. Really know what you hold. A lot of people saying know what you hold, but know very little about the XRPL and all these projects and the innovation that is going to basically take over DeFi. Man, DeFi is exciting, powerful, and is the future.
Another great answer. So we'll finish up today's panel here with Artur. How should everybody help with that adoption?
So I have been in crypto for 7 years, and what I have noticed that no matter what trend emerges, what people do, they go and try themselves. So they try to learn first and then figure it out later. So imagine you're buying a new car. And in this analogy, blockchain will be your new car. Not many people know that a car comes with user manual. But if you buy a new car, do you actually read user manual? The answer is probably no. Because what you first do, well, you know there are pedals, you know how to switch the gearbox, and you're just trying it. Then you figure out what the buttons do. So basically, you're using trial and error method. And this helps to keep your mind fresh and clean, because you will not take, let's say, bad information on something that is pre-deployed into your brain. But only when something does not work or actually breaks, then you go to user manual. And this is how you try and navigate the blockchain. So basically, the universal rule of adoption of the blockchain, whenever it's possible, go and play with it, try, experiment, break the things. Probably some of your things will break at some point. And this is when you reach for user manual. And that user manual can be YouTube. You can go and look for what people on the YouTube can teach you about it. Go for articles, read maybe a book about trading. There are amazing books about trading, which is mostly psychology. But yeah, always go, try new things. Do not be afraid of them. Do not be afraid to fail, because once you fail, you become stronger and you take some lessons out of it.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I just want to say...
Well said. That's going to do it. Look, if you want to get involved in a club so you can start learning this DeFi thing, everything that they've been talking about, and be a part of a small percentage of the population that's even aware of DeFi, and start learning to where you can start making passive income with your XRP, your XLM, and other digital assets that you hold, well, come check out Wealth 28 Club. The link is in the description of this video, and I hope to see you on the inside. Much love. Enjoy your day.